From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher, and their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicky Fisher, and our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Scripchuk. Their mission: to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Welcome to the Garage Heroes in Training Podcast. I am the only host because it's almost Thanksgiving and everybody's cooking, it seems. Anyway, we have returning guest, I don't know if he's a registered crazy person, but he's well on his way. If not,
I've gotten a fair number of diagnoses.
Okay, all right. The brilliance behind the Vannonball effort that happened in 2023, and there may be more about that coming up in 2024. We'll see. Welcome back to the podcast, Zach Caldwell.
Hey, Bill. Hey, I'm glad to be back.
So we've been playing text chains and email chains and all kinds of fun stuff since a few weeks, and you have a brilliant, idiotic idea that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to tell people about this. The problem, I think, the biggest problem, well, not the biggest problem, but one of the problems with the Vannonball is that I am not actually that good at marketing. I am discovering I'm really bad at telling the story of the thing, and the story is the interesting part to me. But in my head right now, what's happening is maybe a descent into madness. I am a couple of months now from the last trip. I've recovered. I've started getting back into work and things, and they've released next year's schedule. And I can't help but think, why not all of them?
Well, let's go back just a minute in case people aren't familiar with the I guess we're going to have to go with Vannonball 1. What was Vannonball 1?
Vannonball 1 was originally 3 races in 3 weeks in my 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan. I drove from Detroit, Michigan to Thunder Hill, raced in Thunder Hill, drove to Denver from there, raced in Denver, and then drove to New Jersey from there, covering about 5,000 highway miles and 1,800-ish, if I remember correctly, track miles. Driving, of course, the van on the highway from point to point and sleeping in it most nights.
And then I remember at the award ceremony, you were invited / challenged / ridiculed into a additional fun.
Yes. One of my numerous flaws is that if you say I can't do something, I'm going to do it, which has led to a number of interesting outcomes in my life. So, I had finished the 3 races in 3 weeks and suspected they would do something to ridicule me at the awards ceremony. So when they called me up, I did a shoey to prepare myself. Are you familiar with what a shoey is?
Oh,
Bill?
I am, but we're not sure if the millions and millions of listeners are all 100%.
Somewhere in the lore of masculinity, it became interesting and funny to drink out of a shoe. And it became a thing I did. I don't know why, but I'm an idiot. So I do a shoey on the wall as I'm walking up to the stage and receive what I am humbled, honestly, to call it fairly big round of applause. I got to watch the video of this week. One of my drivers actually had my 360 cam rolling, and I can't tell you how lucky I am. The coolest moment of my life, and I've got it in 360 HD video.
We did our part at that ceremony for you, sir. And then
it was incredible. But then Eric told me, hey, by the way, we've got a race next weekend as well.
Mm-hmm.
And gave me a registration gratis, which is very kind of them. And then I had to find drivers, brake pads, tires, gas, time, money, rest in Michigan. So it didn't go great. What I learned there is you can do a race on very little preparation, but not on none.
Mm-hmm. This is true. And I will say that you have much more color in your face than the last time we interviewed you after this endeavor. You were looking pretty haggard there, my friend.
That I had not slept very well that night. And I have recovered. It was a physical challenge.
Mm-hmm. So naturally, after doing this and I don't know, let's exaggerate, nearly dying after your 4 races, now you have a brilliant scheme that you're planning and hatching that we have to talk about.
And maybe the best way to put it into scale is to look at the numbers. I was comparing this to a Da Vinci notebook. It is a spreadsheet that only I can read, running the distances, the locations, expenses, all of that on what it would look like to take a single car to every track on the schedule in 2024. Would you like some examples?
I know what the schedule looks like. I've already created my spreadsheet for next year. I'm waiting for 2 more organizations to please give us a schedule so we can plan. You're a lunatic, sir.
I live a life where I get to say things like, it's only 37,000 miles.
I cannot deny this. Yes.
The budget's only about $100,000.
Yep.
Let's see. I think the schedule as it stands right now, I crossed the Mississippi 12 times.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully all on a street, but that's up to you.
All on the street, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and honestly, I have. I'm hoping that when this episode goes out, that I'm talking to people about it broadly, proudly, loudly, promoting it. But I have been kind of soft launching it with some of the major players in Lemon, some of the people that know the culture, the community big enough, and there's been kind of 2 reactions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to name any names. But both of the people I'm about to refer to.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said, wow, that's awesome. How can I help?
Yep.
Also, are you okay?
Mm-hmm. That was kind of where we were at. Yeah.
And the other reaction is, Zach, you said you weren't going to do this. Are you okay?
So we've got some ideas. It was supposed to be a weave, but now it's a meave. I don't know. Yep. Meave. I'm an engineer. I don't do English, man.
Does Vicky not like me?
She does like you. She's just she is trying to recover from the post Vicky weekend, and then she had a sister weekend, and then 2 days from now is Thanksgiving, or 7 days. I
struggle to remember.
Yeah,
I struggle to remember that there are more important things than me in other people's lives.
No, not at all. But she may pop in. You don't know right now. She's let's see, doing yoga with the bird at this point in her life. So she's elbows deep right now. So
yeah,
I'm probably going to get me in trouble. But luckily, she doesn't listen to the podcast. That's okay. All right, so. You texted me, and then we talked about this, and then we texted back, and I have been pondering this, and I have some ideas, but I don't in any way say this to disparage you in any way, but this is a lot of money and physically hard and and probably mentally harder and logistically not the easiest thing I've ever contemplated.
You're right. And I am not underestimating that.
Okay.
However, I do point out that when it comes to doing week after week lemons races over the road, I'm kind of the expert.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is something to be proud of, though. Let's talk about that. No, I'm just kidding.
I talked a little bit about how hard it is to tell the story, and it's definitely not helping me on first dates, let me tell you.
Well, it's not your opener, sir. I think this is not your opener.
It's not.
No.
But the challenge is, like, how do you tell the cool parts of this? Like, yes, it's hard. Yes, no normal human would consider this. But who else can I talk to about the weirdness that is the simultaneous blinking of the lights as you cross Oklahoma and Kansas on the wind turbines? The entire sky lights up with red light. I got to drive a minivan on the Salt Lakes of Bonneville.
This is true.
I got stranded in Denver, but I did a guy's yard work while he fixed my car for me. Like,
fair trade.
My response to the actual challenges are they're knowable and thus overcomable.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. This isn't so dumb that we can't do it. This is just
hard.
Acknowledging that it's dumb.
And the other answer is the way I've built the schedule is with as much flexibility as I have given the standard I have set for myself. There's no part of it that's actually harder than what I already did this year.
Yeah, it's just longer, more.
It's several different ones, but I've got a spreadsheet that just shows, like, with conditional formatting, just colors of race on, race off. And the first 6 months of next year, I actually have a very nice progression of race, couple of weeks off, race, couple of weeks off, 2 races, couple of weeks off. And then it builds to, in the summer, a couple of, like, 3 and 4 races on a block, big cross country trips, things like that. So it actually progresses very nicely. And I think might actually be easier because I'll basically have to make it my job. It'll be my full-time dedicated cause this year.
I can see that. What's the worst transit you have?
That's a great question, and I think it's going to be actually the last one.
California to Road Atlanta.
California to Road Atlanta. But let's think about that for a second. Consider, it's the 22nd and 23rd race. I've done everything else. I get to Sonoma, have a great race, finish up, and I get to drive all the way across the country. And it takes me about the right amount of time to get to Atlanta. I can't imagine it takes me much. It's much harder than getting from Denver to New Jersey, Sonoma to Atlanta. It might take an extra day because of the mountains and the size of California. But to be able to wrap up that entire year with a true cross-country journey from the 2 closing races of the year, I think that'll be so exciting that it couldn't possibly even be hard.
Well, having seen you after the end of the last one, I'm not sure exciting is going to be the prevailing face.
Well, here's the other thing.
Yeah.
At Gingerman, I was deeply demoralized because we couldn't race. I think we turned 35 laps. We went through, if I remember this correctly, we were burning $5 of brake pads every lap.
Yep.
We were going through a $50 set of brake pads in 10 laps. And then we burned through the whole stock that, the locality had.
Yep.
I am glad to say that we have a solution to that problem currently enacted. I am loyal to Carbotech. They have been kind to me. I know them. They work well.
Okay.
We are gonna change fluids, and we have found a solution to change knuckle, strut, rotor, hub, all of that to get larger and actually get us a 2-cylinder or a 2-piston steel piston
nice
caliper setup.
That'll help.
Which will solve a lot of problems. I think if Gingerman had gone differently and the van had been running, I think I probably would have felt different.
Well, I mean, the odds are not stacked in your favor to do this endeavor and have, every lap of every race going for you. But, we're gonna try to come up with a plan, I guess. So, thoughts that I had that we need to make sure you're cool with. So I was thinking, what are the issues? So, one, there's the cost. Two, there's spares and consumables.
Yes.
And transits.
Yes.
And you're going to need to have a ton of drivers because you're not driving the entire race by yourself. So there's an opportunity. And then I was thinking you should have one of your drivers, especially for the long transits, one of your drivers hopefully will be able to do the transit to the next race and be a back-to-back racer with you, because that would make the transits less difficult on you.
You're right in that the transits are actually the hard part. Psychically, physically. One of the problems, the reason I had such a bad experience at Buttonwillow, I had a panic attack. None of my suits fit. It's because I just eaten so much fast food in the last 5 days. I was so bloated I couldn't fit in my stuff. The transits are hard. Having people ride in the van with me, the challenge there becomes getting a passenger seat.
Yep.
Which I think can be done pretty easily. My goal would actually be to put the third row back in, because I think it'll fit with the roll cage.
Yep.
I'm not opposed to that. I am also, though, bringing my dog.
Well, then you got a passenger.
I do have a passenger. I got a dog when I got back from the trip. Actually, like the week after I got back from the trip, thinking I should get something that forces me to settle down and stabilize a little bit. And he's fantastic, but he hasn't prevented me from continuing to be insane.
No, I'm hoping it's not a very large dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Plan B.
He rides really good though. We do a lot of travel together.
Awesome.
And you're not wrong. And my hope is that what I found in doing the Vannonball this year is the community is incredibly deep with people that want to help, want to support, want to be part of the story.
For sure.
And I see that. I look at like the K Across America story where people were really doing some insane things to get that car across the country, including getting stranded both in Death Valley and in negative 20 degrees Wyoming.
It is the K car. I mean,
and that's, I'll be honest, I have to ask myself very seriously if what I'm doing is making a plan that other people will have to commit to.
You are.
Wondering if they're actually excited to do it, or if they're just doing it so that I don't end up stranded somewhere in the middle of the desert.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's unfair of me to put an obligation on other people. But I really think that given how the Vannonball went, I don't have that concern. The van is incredibly reliable. There's solutions to all of the problems you've discussed. And I have never said I was going to a race and not had enough people want to drive that arrive and drive fees cover all the costs. I've never lost money on a race.
So
I've made money on a race, but
as long as you're plus or minus, it doesn't really matter. So I think one thing that Lemons has proven is the amount of ridiculous effort that a certain subset of our population will do for a stupid patch.
Yeah.
So apparently we need to get you a Vannonball patch.
I had not considered a patch. I did just order some t-shirts. I had been talking about t-shirts. I promised t-shirts. I've been far delayed on the t-shirts. Timeless, not my strength. But I did order them actually just yesterday, and they will be here and they will be shipping out before Christmas to people that ordered them, people that helped me out. There will be those. So there is going to be shirts. I am going to merchandise patches, stickers, and anything else that strikes my fancy. My other goal, and I haven't talked about this yet, is that I intend to host the potluck at every race. I've hosted the potluck at every race I've gone to so far, and it has always been the most fun part. It has always been actually pretty easy because I think people overestimate exactly how hard it really is.
No, it's logistics. It's not terrible.
No. I should tell you the intent is that I'm going to tow a trailer behind the van.
I was going to say we need that.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's got a tow hitch already. It can tow 3,500 pounds. It is pretty beefy hauler if I need it to be. So I'll be hauling a trailer behind with a smoker, a little enclosed camper, tool sets and things like that, so that the inside of the van can stay relatively open and comfortable.
I know teammate Jeremy has a rooftop camp tent set up.
I considered it with the dog who demands that he's touching me.
Yeah.
I'll have a little camper on the trailer. It's
okay.
I've got a plan. It's comfortable.
All right. So, oh boy. Okay. So if you're gonna need to accept help, sir.
Yeah, I've got help.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure you don't try to go this one alone. You got a very, very large sandwich you're trying to bite off.
I'm being a little cagey because I don't want to speak for other people's enthusiasm or commitment. But I can tell you that I've got a project manager, like a professional. That's what he does for a living. Project manager.
That's good.
Who is on my team and helping me arrange things and make sure I'm thinking about things. I've got, the word I'm using is champions, in the way that they are kind of leading the cause, and I've got them on each coast. One of the things I'm hoping that they will do is find a place for me to stash a parts car. So I'll have a, you can get a parts 2006 Dodge Grand Caravan for $1,000, and I can stash one on each coast and maybe one in Memphis as well.
I know a guy with a hangar that might be able to squeeze a spot in there for you.
Exactly. So those, I like that when I say this goal, it's ambitious and feels insane to a degree, but it really is. It's a logistical challenge, and there's ways to solve them. Enough parts cars, enough breaks between races. I am not concerned about my ability to successfully do this. I am mostly, my biggest concern is other people being excited to join me.
Well, we will do our best, and we will come up with something that we can do on the podcast to make sure people don't forget about it. So let's see. Logistics. I'm thinking I suggest that you definitely have to race at each event, but I would only do Saturday. Personally, the car can go the whole weekend.
I would leave and get to the next place.
No, because you still got to transit. But I think racing both days and then just jumping in Sunday night. And then doing the transit all the time. Oof, that's going to get old real fast.
Well, you're absolutely right, and you actually got there. You got there faster than I did. The truth is, Bill, I only race actually on the track at about half the races I go to.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't want you to overcommit yourself, because you've got any. I mean, when we talk, we love endurance racing. You love endurance racing with what you're trying to do.
I often tell people I get plenty of seat time in the car. I don't have to take it on track.
Okay, cool. I'm good with that. Okay. All right. So we need a patch. I think we need a patch. Our team is good at paddock and swag. Driving, TBD. We're still a work in progress. So if you need any help with that, I have preferred places that we like. I'm thinking, as much fun as this is going to be, and as much effort is going into this, with the hopeful, I'm on the side with you that there's going to be a lot of public enthusiasm over this.
Yes.
We could use this to perhaps service some type of charity cause.
I'm glad you said that. When I say that I'm going to host the potlucks at every race, We have had, I say we as in the team, kind of the royal we. We've had really good success raising money at those potlucks for Lemons of Love. I want to say we raised over $700 at NCM. And my goal right now sits at $1,000 for every race. If I can finish this trek and have put 23 grand into Lemons of Love, I'll feel really excited and proud about what we did.
That's like that's like a whole Miata.
Say what?
That's like a whole Miata.
It is. And I'm comfortable. I think that goal is absolutely achievable. Given that I'm bringing a trailer, I'll have the smoker. The potluck is easy to handle, and I haven't made a big deal out of this, but since the trip, I quit drinking. So trying to host a party which will have the ability for people to do things that aren't just drinking and staring at cars will be a good time.
For sure.
So yeah, my goal is to raise about 23 grand for Lemons of Love. The part we haven't discussed yet is how I get the minivan to 2 races on the same weekend.
Yeah, I was getting there. That's on my to-do list. Yeah.
Well, the solution's pretty simple. The van's just going to look a lot like a Supra that weekend.
That's fine. That's fine. It happens.
I have found a friend who will he's going to drive the race van that looks a little bit like a Supra. And I will actually, my intent would be to host the potluck at both events and fly between them on Saturday.
Well, that's going to be a bit of an effort, but that's fun. It's good.
It's Denver to Seattle. It's not an
oh, that's not terrible.
Okay. No, it's not hard. And
it's not like what Mental did last time when they did the double 24s. That was craziness.
And there's enough timeline there. I've had to make some decisions about the logistics of it, and I'll be a little bit cagey about what that means right now, but there are ways to do it that take the logistical challenge down without hurting the actual impact of the story. So one of them is, I think it's important that I make it to every race, even if the van can't make it, if the van breaks down or something, for me to get there and show that at least we're putting in the effort.
Oh, I mean, we both know that suppose the van has an issue at event C.
Yeah.
There are many Lemons teams who will take care of you and make sure that that van is ready for event D.
I'm comfortable with that, and I hope that I can meet that generosity in the community with whatever I can offer. And if the van has to look a little bit like a Miata one weekend, it'll work.
Okay. Our friends at Everyone Racers would say it can't be a BMW though, but that's just them. Don't worry. This is we don't
it's
persecute.
always going to be a Dodge Grand Caravan. It just might ride a little differently.
So we need some Dodge Caravan, the little plastic silver pieces with the names. We need a few of those
little badges. Yeah,
we need those badges. That would be cool. So you're going to have some physical challenges doing this.
Yeah.
And the one that I thought of immediately was food, because the food, it's not easy to eat even okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying eat well, I'm just saying eat okay on the road. So that's going to be a challenge. So I'm thinking, here's my thoughts. We're going to have some Lemons people open up their homes to you for dinners on the way by. I believe that would be possible.
I had a really great time on the first trip, Vannonball Run, Electric Boogaloo. And people did. There was a lot of times people would let me crash with them and we'd have dinner. Mike Berge comes to mind. We had a really good night. Shared dinner with him and his wife. And then I spent the next hour in the massage chair watching the Lemons documentary that had just come out.
Hoopties.
Yeah, Hoopties.
Oh, it's
and
fantastic.
Then, this is weird, but he has a very fancy toilet and it was great.
That's fine. These things need to be addressed as well. So you've got a lot of interstate driving, some side roads, obviously, because racetracks aren't right off the interstate. you've got a lot of track driving.
Yep.
That's going to need a lot of parts, a lot of
Yes.
supplies. Is there
Yes.
any luck so far in this early stage in getting any partners or potential supplies?
I don't want to speak too quickly for anybody. I have reached out to several people and several organizations I think would get value for their sponsorship.
For sure.
My goal is if I can cut costs by about 10 grand, it becomes a lot easier. And then, because I'm going to be buying some fairly atypical things in bulk, the opportunities are there. I'll need 30 or 40 sets of brake pads, a dozen, 2 dozen sets of tires, not 2 dozen sets of tires, 18 sets of tires roughly, lots of oil, lots of fuel changes. I did reach out to a non-alcoholic beer brand that has some racing alignment in their brand. So my hope is that given that we're going to be at every race, given that there's going to be a lot of exposure, and my real goal this time is to make sure that I'm doing that kind of marketing and social media work correctly. Right. I've also got a videographer on the team who's going to be more managing me than anything, making sure that I'm getting video and doing regular work. No success on sponsorships yet, but I think there's a real likelihood that there will be some support.
Yeah, I think it would be valuable to get somebody like an Advance or an AutoZone or O'Reilly's or all the places that every Lemons person goes to. Because they're kind of everywhere, and you're literally going to be everywhere. So
yep.
I mean, that would be kind of fun. I know a friend of mine who used to his goal was to go to every Cracker Barrel in the nation. And I think it would be fun for you to count. So let's just say Advance were to be involved. It would be fun to count how many Advance or AutoZones or whatever that you go into during this trip. That would be a tally worth keeping.
One of the images that comes in my head every now and then is some sort of tally board on the side of the van of something. And one of them might be how many Advances we've visited.
Exactly. If it's O'Reilly, it's O'Reilly. It's fine. We're just spitballing here. So
as long as they have parts for one of the most ubiquitous vehicles in America.
Exactly. It's not like I mean, I think the only thing better would be like a Crown Vic derived car because they have parts everywhere. But I think it's doable. I think otherwise, before we go, which we're not quite close to done with my questions, but you're going to need some fellow commitment drivers. And how are we going to address that?
Pleases and thank yous.
Well, how about this? How do they contact you after we already committed to races with you? How do they contact you, and how would they reach out to you?
It's a great question and a great lead. I have a Facebook group. It is Team Vannonball 24 Hours of Lemons on Facebook. You will also find me pretty much compulsively posting on the OK Stupid matchmaker. I'm on.
You could have your own page there.
And so if you search the word Vannonball in Google, you will find ways to reach me. I am incredibly easy to get in touch with.
Okay. So do you have a rough number in your head on how many drivers you're going to need?
95.
That's a rough number. That works.
It's straight from their spreadsheet.
Yeah.
The only softness on that is how many drivers I actually use in the 24. I know how many drivers I use on a regular race. I get 5 drivers. Everybody gets a fair stint. And if there's anything left over, I get to go out. The 24 is a new challenge that I'm really, really excited about. I think the van will be very successful, but trying to figure out how many drivers I'll use on that stint is going to move that number, 5, maybe 5 one way or the other.
Okay. Oh boy, this sounds like fun, sir. I think we're going to have to get a runner too.
I have tons of seats available, and the seat fits everybody.
It does, literally. It's I think
I had a driver at Road America who was 6'8".
That's a big guy.
Yep.
Or girl.
He fit.
Yeah. It looked like he fit everybody all at once at New Jersey, but that's a whole different story. So this looks like fun. You've got Okay Stupid driver seats. Do you have a website yet?
I think I own the domain, but I haven't built the website yet.
Okay. Any Lemons people who want to help build a website, contact you. That's fine. You don't have to do this alone, sir. How about Facebook, Instagram? We got those covered.
The Facebook is the Vannonball team. The 24 hours of lemons. I haven't built the Instagram yet, but it's coming soon.
Okay.
I've just been posting on my personal one, and that's just pictures of my dog now.
Okay, that's fine. I've heard that there's this local television personality, Bill Vila, who may be interested in covering some of these. So just prepare you that there may be some
I'm great on camera, let me tell you.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, he's not, so don't worry. The bar is quite low.
Captain's log supplemental.
So, Bill, guess what?
What?
We did the Sentinel. We did the Sentinel.
We did.
How
did you like it?
You know what? We were talking about the Sentinel.
We have.
It was great. We understood watching how the Sentinel works, but we finally got it into our car, and I got to tell you, that was really awesome. I was able to see every one of my mistakes.
We have hours of them.
We have hours of my mistakes, but we have hours of good stuff too, which is awesome. It actually showed us the speed. Did it show us where we were on track?
We were streaming it
We were streaming it live.
Boring billions of people across the world.
But it was pretty incredible. Plus, on it, you're able to put your insignia, your logos on your app also, and the clarity was amazing. It was really easy to put in, easier than I thought it was.
I know you kept making a big deal out of it. I'm like, it's really not that hard. Until we focused on it, it wasn't too bad. And then we got some help. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good.
You know what? I like the stream because some of the tracks we go to don't have great cell phone coverage, but it's got a USB stick backup. So I just uploaded the high quality video without the cellular interruption. So if you watched us earlier and said, wow, they got from there to there really quickly, you can watch the real video and see that no, we didn't. It's just a cell phone went out. But
yeah. So the learning curve for me, obviously, I'm slightly techno-Amish.
Slightly.
When it comes to the wiring and stuff like that, but we get it in, and I love it. We were able to sit there right at the track and watch what we were doing in the car, and that was amazing. Which
was good because if you have a problem with your radio, you can tell, if something is going on that you need to know about. Like a couple times we've had cars come in and we didn't know they were broken. I know it's hard to imagine one of our cars being broken, but whatever. But you can watch the video, and even with the cell phone coverage we had at that particular event, it was like a 30-second delay, so it wasn't bad. And you can compare multiple drivers because you have each of the stints are broken up. So we got to work on not only our driving, but if we wanted to, we could work on our pit stops and see exactly what we do. And there's some things that we need to talk about as a team. And it was pretty good. Like I said, it takes me, once we got the wiring hooked up for the power, I probably could go from an empty shell to a full up setup running Sentinel. I could probably do that in like 20 minutes. So you could literally install it in a car before a race. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And we got to see the driver and the front windshield. And if we want to, we can have three. We can see backwards. Or one of the guys we were going to work with at the upcoming event, he said, could you put a camera on the driver's eyes so we could see what they're looking at? I said, why, yes, I can. Haven't done it yet, but I'll figure it out. We got time.
Well, I love it.
All right, very well. That sounds like I can buy another one then. Woo! So the Vannonball is back. You're committed to doing this and might be committed after doing this. That's a different story. And I think anybody interested should be paying attention to this because I mean it is, after all, for a good cause and for an incredibly stupid idea, and it seems like fun. I think you're going to have a good time, sir. Going to meet some new friends.
The only thing I want to say is I love my arrive and drives always have a good time.
Mhm.
My big thing, the thing that I really care about is I want to make sure that first time drivers know that they are welcome to the car. I would love
True.
the Vannonball to be first time drivers first car. It's easy to drive, everybody fits in it, and it's not going to get itself in trouble. So it's a great first car for drivers. I love bringing people into lemons.
And I feel sorry for anybody who hits the Vannonball during this year. They're not going to be treated well by the Lemons crowd. So I did have an idea that we were thinking about and kind of spitballing here. What about, I don't know if you do it for every race. I don't know if you do it for some races, but you kind of see how many drivers you can get in there for an hour at a shot and do that for charity.
That is a very interesting idea.
You know, it makes the stint cost low, but it makes the charity money raised higher, covers your expenses, and then the rest goes to the Lemons of Love.
You know, I think that actually is one solution to a problem I've been looking for, which is how to end it big. To get to Atlanta and finish the year just by racing a normal race doesn't feel like quite a capstone. I think that's an interesting way. And one thing we've always joked about is, I think, I'm trying to remember who this was, but it was some of us that were drinking and having an idea session. One of the ideas we had is getting as many people into it as possible. And I set a bracket time in the van, and then everybody puts in $10 and it's a 50-50 pot for the person who can get closest to my time.
Okay, we could do that. I think the option for doing that makes it more challenging to get people, but less challenging to get people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only downside, I'm just making sure you're aware, the only downside is you're going to have to order more patches.
I'm going to order a lot of patches.
There you go. That's where we need to be.
I think people will want them.
I definitely do. And, you know, perhaps, not that we've done this, we have a one version for people who just want them, and then we have one version for people who drive with us.
Yeah.
So that way you can, if you, for what you're doing, I would think you would be able to sell the ones for charity and have no issue getting those out. So,
and before we wrap up, I do want to put this out there because I don't have a good answer to this. At the end of this year, the van will probably be shot.
I believe so, sir.
So what's the Viking funeral for the minivan?
I believe
throw it off a cliff.
Well, it's been done though. I mean, that's been done. We need to come up with something else. And the thing that comes to mind is I believe that on Top Gear they tried making a rocket out of one. That was kind of fun.
I don't have access to rocket fuel yet, but that's a logistical solution. Logistical problem.
You don't know that you do have access to it. Let's just go with that. So how about
there
this?
There are a lot of redneck rocket scientists right around, I don't know, Huntsville, Alabama.
I might know a few. But we could do this. Garage Heroes and Training at gmail.com for ideas on how to send the Vannonball out to pasture, because I believe this one will be pretty much used up, sir. We might have to do that. That's okay. So what else did we miss? We got a bunch of stuff that we have to conquer. Got some ideas.
You know, I'm not sure. I think the schedule's hard, but I know how hard it is. My biggest thing is going to be getting in shape for it. And I will honestly probably have to train for it.
I would say that would be a good plan, sir, because as we both know, round is a shape, but that may not be the optimal shape for the Vannonball.
I've lost a little weight since I quit drinking, but the carb craving has taken it over.
Well, that's no fun. But you're either going to come out of this very much improved health wise or very much not improved health wise. I'm not sure which side of the teeter totter we're going to win.
I've never been one for moderation.
No. Well, I mean that's indicative of what you're about to try to do, sir.
Do it once, won't do all of them.
Man, my initial thought was you're a crazy man. My continued thought is you're a crazy man, but it's doable.
I think it is.
Yeah. I think the Lemons community will rally for this one, and hopefully we'll be able to get you some sponsors. They could be personal, they could be businesses, they could be anything. And I think this will work, sir. And I think we could do this for a good cause and have a good time. And you just got to realize the documenting of this is part of it.
Yep. I'm working on a plan to solve that.
All right, awesome. Maybe just put a GoPro around your dog's neck and find out what you get.
He is very cute. There's a lot of marketing power there.
There you go. Dogs. What's the number one thing on YouTube is cat video. So we're just going to have one long dog video. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. How hard can it be? And you can count on us for publicizing this on the podcast. That's easy.
Excellent.
We might have to do some call-ins.
I think it would be great. Let's do a regular update.
We can do that. We could do that for the prep, because the prep is the hard part.
Oh yeah.
When is your first race?
Barber. I've already got people putting deposits down on seats. I've got people committed to driving it. Barber is coming in February.
I was going to say that's February, right? Okay. So how do people know which seats are taken and which races are still open? We need to figure that out.
I post pretty heavily on OK Stupid.
Yes, you do.
And I watch for people looking for seats. And basically, I stop talking about it when I don't have any more seats left.
Cool. I think this is a great way for people to learn a new track, perhaps start the sport for their first time. Perhaps you've got a bucket list track you want to go to. You don't have to bring a car. That's chauffeur driven. It's delivered for you. It's right there. It's a great deal.
I have had a lot of very happy first time drivers. It's a thing I really do. It's the heart of what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. I think this would be fantastic. And I can't wait to follow along and become part of it and earn a patch or two and see what we can do. And I'm
really grateful for the help and support.
Anytime. And we will be contacting you. I have an idea. We may have a podcast idea for this, so it'll be fun. We'll talk off pod. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's a secret. Keep it quiet. Keep it safe. Anyway.
Continue being cagey.
Exactly. Because I don't want to commit you to something without you say. You have enough commitments, sir. So it'll be fun. I think it'll be great. And I can't wait to see this happen and see you pull this off, because I have no doubt it will happen. It's just how hard is it going to be? I'm
looking forward to it. I really am. I'm so excited.
It should be. And we may need to do a time-lapse face shot throughout this to see the ups and downs. So it'll be fun. All right, sir. Good luck with this, and I can't wait to follow.